Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. It's good to be with, and I'll even try that again. It's good to be with you again. Thanks so much. Today, we've got a special guest, Carole Henrysen. Now, Carole came to my attention fairly recently when I did a podcast with Scott Solomon, Mr. Solomon Adjustments. And Scott mentioned Carole specifically by name, not by company, by name, relative to some problems she had had in her company and how she had overcome them. And I thought that was interesting. So I got in touch with Scott, got Carole's contact, got in touch with Carole. Carole said, "Oh, that'd be great. Let's do this." So here we are. Carole, how are you?
I'm doing really great. Thank you so much for asking me to be here, Tim. I appreciate it.
Oh, sure. I'm glad you could. Thank you very much. Now, let's get back to Scott's original question. You were chatting with Scott,
Yes.
and the issue of, well, business is changing or has changed, or there wasn't any business, or whatever had come up. And you and he were talking about the fact that you said, okay, I got a problem.
Mhm.
And there are a lot of appraisers right now in the position of, 2 years ago, they were billing $150,000 a year, and now they're billing not $150,000 a year. And business has slowed down. The GSEs are not painting the happiest picture out there of real estate appraisal. We've got more competition than we've had before, but yet, despite this, and this is the case everybody faces. Despite this, you said, "Okay, I can overcome those. I can succeed." So, if you would please, in your own words, uh, let let's start out with uh, how did you what what woke you up one morning saying, "Carole, hello, we have a problem."
Wow. That's a great question. So, um, to answer that, I'd have to go back a little bit, if that's okay. I've I started appraising in 2004, so a lot has happened, and there have been a lot of ups and downs, and we've had to learn how to adapt, right? So, this wasn't the first time that I was faced with a really tough time in my business. And 2022 was the worst year ever. Um, it had to do with the interest rates changing so drastically, and that affected everybody. But then I was having a lot of personal problems too. Um, I was watching my dog of 14 years I raised from a puppy slowly die. I was watching my mentor, who I worked with for 20 years, die, and life life was not easy. And so I was having trouble navigating my personal life, and then also what was going on in the appraisal world. And then I had a really horrible year. And then I woke up and I was like, well, I need to do something about this. So I looked to see what I could do to make a change, and I took some advice from my own self of what I had done to make a change several years before that. So in 2018, I had a bicycle accident and I couldn't work for 8 months. And so I had to rebuild my business when I came back. So I thought, well, I will draw on that because I was able to bounce back before. So how can I make a change? So the first thing is that um, I would say the number one thing, and maybe people don't want to hear this, is mindset. Um, if you put out into the universe, I'm going to get a little woo-woo. Um, this is terrible. The world is ending. The appraisal business is doomed, and I'll never be able to work again. Then that's exactly what will happen. But if you put out into the universe, like, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make it happen, and here's my plan. So that's exactly what I did. So to simplify it, like in 2018, what I did was I decided that I was going to start focusing on complex assignments. And the reason that I decided that was because I went into the Facebook groups and I looked to see what no one else wanted to do. And at that time, nobody wanted to do complex assignments. And I thought, well, then I'll do it. And I took the classes that I needed to take to get educated. I started talking with the realtors that I needed to speak with in order to become familiar with those properties, to make those connections. And then I said to myself, okay, now I just need to have a complex assignment come in that I can work on, that I can show people that I can do this. And that week, 3 of them came in from 3 different clients. I mean, it's, call it what you will, that's what happens. So when 2023 came around, I decided, what can I do? And I looked and I saw that um, people were trying to focus on getting more private work, but everybody was doing it the exact same way. So I thought, well, how can I do something different? And that's when I started using social media to do that. So the idea is to find your blue ocean. Have you ever heard of that? Have you ever heard of finding your blue ocean? Right?
Yes. Yeah. Mhm.
So, for anybody who hasn't heard of that, it's a marketing term. Um, the red ocean is basically where all of your competition is, and there's blood in the water. And so to make that relative to that would be like AMC work. You know, there's so many people that are trying to get it. So go where nobody else is. So if you're focusing on trying to get all the AMCs to give you work and everyone else is doing the same thing, that's not where you want to be. Nobody was on social media. They're on there, but they weren't on there. I was looking for a way to be on there differently. So that's what I did. I took some classes in marketing and social media, and I'm figuring it out, and I'm still working on figuring it out, but our phone is ringing every day because of it. So, I know that was a lot, but
Okay, let's back up a little bit.
yes.
Okay, the first one, you basically got up one morning and said, "Hello, universe, I'm changing."
Mhm.
And you went out and you went out and said that, and then you didn't go back to bed. You you went out and you told the universe what you were going to do, and you expected the universe to listen. And then you made it listen. You grabbed it by the lapels, you shook it a little while, and you said, "Listen." Now, isn't that sort of the concept of Zen?
Sin? Oh my gosh, I
No,
love where you're
Zen.
going with
Z-E-N.
Zen. Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
You said sin. Um,
No, Zen.
so yeah, I guess it sort of is maybe. I had our business name changed to Zen Appraisals back in 2020. That was part of another makeover that I did. And the man that I worked with that helped me do that said, you need to have a name, a website and a name of your business that represents you, not your name, but something that people can connect to. So if you want to attract, you have to think about who you want to attract, right? So that's like in your blue ocean when you're looking for your ideal client. So you want to build a website that when they look at that website, they they can understand who you are and you are like them. And so if somebody looks at my website and they are in the middle of a terrible, awful, ugly divorce where they need to have a police escort come to their house and help me get in, they're not going to call me, and I don't want them to. But if they're in the middle of um, a divorce where they're trying to do their best just to make things work out, and maybe they're not getting along so great, but they need someone who is level-headed and will make things stress-free, they're going to call me. And usually when somebody calls us, um, they've already hired us. They they just want to know when we can come out. They don't a lot of times ask me what our price is. They've already decided. So I and we purposely build our social media and our website for it to be that way. If somebody calls me and asks me, the first question is, how much do you charge? Then they probably haven't investigated us much, and they're probably not our client.
Let's talk about social media. You've mentioned that twice
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Okay, part of grabbing the universe by the lapels and shaking it around, getting its attention, You mentioned that you took some classes. Now,
Yeah.
in a normally when you talk to appraisers about taking classes, like, oh yeah, I took a class on highest best use, or yeah, I took a class on the sales comparison approach. And we all roll our eyes and go, oh, yeah, boring. But that's not where you went. You went in the exact opposite direction. You took classes in marketing, and then you took classes in what, SEO?
Um, I I bought several courses from several different types of people that were not appraisers. So I bought a course from a young girl who was a college girl who built a seven-figure blog and paid for her college education and offered a course showing you how to do it. And I took her course. I took a course from an affiliate marketer. Um, Affiliate marketing is basically where you learn how to promote other people's businesses and then you make a commission from it. So I thought, well, I want to put that to work for myself. And I took that course. I took a course from somebody who specializes in social media marketing. Um, so yeah, I mean, yeah, we take courses to learn how to be appraisers, but we don't take courses to learn how to be business owners. And I think that's what we need to do.
Okay, excellent point. We take courses to learn how to be appraisers, but we don't take courses to learn how to operate our businesses. And
Yeah,
let's face it, if we can't operate a business, we can't operate an appraisal business, and if we can't operate an appraisal business, why be an appraiser? So the two are completely intertwined, but yet there's absolutely nothing out there that says, "Oh, you want to be an appraiser? Okay, the first thing you have to do is understand marketing." No, no, nobody does that, and that's obviously lacking in the business. So okay, you had to make some changes. You had to say, okay, what did Albert Einstein say? It's insanity to keep doing stuff in the same way, but yet expect a different result. Okay.
yeah,
So you said, "Hey, Doc, I'm not I'm not insane. I'm going to start all over again." Okay, and he smiled from wherever it is he is in in the infinite. And so you basically started all over again. And you demanded of yourself different results. And as a result, you got different results. And one of the different approaches, as it were, was not to go out and learn how to do the income approach better. And I'm not saying don't do that, but that's not where you went at this point.
yeah.
You went out and said, okay, I'm going to learn more about affiliate marketing. Now, yeah, affiliate marketing is basically you saying, oh, I see that you're shopping for furniture. Oh, well, go see my friend Fred. And they go over to Fred and they buy a couch and Fred sends you $50. Okay, it's perfectly legitimate, perfectly on the up and up. People have been doing that for the last 5,000 years. Okay, now from a standpoint, however, of appraisers, this has nothing to do with appraising. You don't, you don't pick up the phone and call the good folks at Appraiser Learning and say, "Hey, I want to take a class on marketing couches." Um, you have to do that totally separately. Now, you mentioned how you did it. You purchased a class in it. And then what did you have to do to your website, and what has been the benefit to you of doing that?
So our website is constantly a work in progress. I started changing it in 2020 to make it look different than I don't like to call the other appraisers in my area competitors because I don't think of them that way. I think of them as my peers. They're my friends. We go to lunch. We help each other be better. But I did look at their websites and I thought I want to be different. What can I offer that they're not offering? And um, and I think that's the first thing that you want to do. You need to be unique and stand out. So what that does mean, like I said before, is there will be people who won't want to hire you, and that's okay. Um, I'm not meant to do every appraisal that comes along. And sometimes people will call me and want to hire me, and I know that I'm not the best appraiser for them, and I'll refer them to one of my peers in our area. So what did I do? I constantly update the market stats. Every month I put market stats on our website. So people can go there and see what the median sale prices are, the days on market, the list to sale ratio in each county that we serve. So they can see the larger market stats, and they don't have to rely on the TV to tell them, or the news people to tell them what's going on. They can look at a local source, one of their neighbors that wants to help them. It's really important to do something that doesn't, it serves no purpose but to serve others. And it will come back. What is that saying from Zig Ziglar? If you help, you'll get everything in life that you want if you help enough other people get what it is that they need. So does it take time and energy for me to make those market stats and put them on the website? Yes. Does it help other people? Yes. Does it end up getting us work? Yes. I post a blog post every week, or I do my best to do it. I'm not as good as some others that are really good at that, but I do my very best to get a blog post up every week. And it is not focused on selling our services. It's focused on helping people understand certain things about the appraisal world. So, those are the big things that I do. We also personalize our website so people can see who we are, and they can either like us or not like us, and they can decide that when they see it.
Talk about your blog. Blogs can be very time consuming,
Yeah.
and they don't make a lot of money.
Mm.
So why should an appraiser, and just so you know, I'm on your side, but why should an appraiser do a blog knowing full well that it's going to take an hour and or more,
Mm.
and it's not going to make the first time because nobody's going to call you up and say, Carole, I love your blog. I'm going to send you $50. That just doesn't happen.
Mm.
So why go to all the time and trouble to do a blog?
Um, that's a really good question, and I could see that would be the perspective of a lot of appraisers. Um, the reason that I do the blog, for the first reason, is to serve our neighbors. The second reason is Google, uh, they like a website that's kept up to date. And if you're constantly updating your website, then you have a better chance of being moved to the top of the list when somebody searches for an appraiser. So I don't place ads. It's totally organic. And most people that call us are either referrals or they found us on Google. So that's why you should do a blog.
All right, let me bring up an important point here. You
Yeah.
said that Google looks for recent stuff. Okay.
Mhm.
Yes, that's one of the secrets of the Google algorithm. It looks for recent stuff. I've had appraisers say to me, "Oh, I don't change my website very often. There's nothing to change. I've done the same I've done the same stuff for the past 25 years. So therefore there's nothing to update. So because there isn't anything recent, Google, in sending out whatever it is Google sends out, takes a look at that website and goes, nothing here to see. Let's move on. So as a result, because there isn't anything, Google doesn't know anything hasn't changed, but because Google doesn't see something recent, something up to date, it just moves on. So what you're saying is the purpose of the blog, among other things, is to give Google reason to stop and say, "Oh, look, there's recent stuff." Therefore, when somebody says, "Give me appraisers in the general Philadelphia area," then they say, "Oh, Zen Appraisals just had some recent stuff on their website. Let's put them number one or number two or number three." So the purpose of the blog is not so much a communications device. It's to wave your flag to Google and say, "Hello, stop here and put me high on the list." Is that right?
It is right. And I'll go back to your commentary about an appraiser saying there's nothing to update. So I don't know how to say this without sounding smart alecky. How I don't know if I said that word right, but a wise guy. Saying that there's nothing to improve on your website is like saying there's nothing to improve in your appraisal practice. There's always something to improve and always something to update. So you just got to look for it.
And part of Google's looking for it is looking for something that wasn't there the last time Google stopped by for a visit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, okay. So that, so you're talking about you had a website, but then you renamed it. You came up with Zen Appraisals. Okay. So you have a presence on the internet. Then you know that one of the things you have to do every so often, usually weekly, is update it so that when Google's algorithm goes out searching, it sees, oh, look, Carole put something new on there. Okay, we need to let everybody know about that. Whereas Tim doesn't have anything new on his website, therefore we're not going to get real excited about that, even though we're not in the same markets and those wouldn't come up anyway. But the point is, and we talk about marketing, appraisers get real excited about sitting at their desk in their basement typing appraisals when, yeah, that's what they got to do. But they've also got to either hire it out or they've got to spend, from 3 to 4 a.m. on Tuesday morning going, okay, what is it that I can update about my site? And what you're saying is, even though a blog in and of itself doesn't make anybody any money, that is the entity that is new and therefore excites Google and gets Google to pay attention. Therefore, the marketing is not the message. The marketing is the change. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yeah. It's that, but also it's not that it won't make you any money. So one of the other things that I did, I think in 2019 or 2020, I started working with Blaine. I joined his coaching group.
You're referring to Blaine Fan, a
Yeah,
fine woman, by
but
the way.
you know what? How many Blaines are there? Right?
Well, in real estate appraisal, there's only
It's
one.
only
That's
one.
Blaine
It's like
Fan. Yeah,
one
a
Blaine.
wonderful gentleman. Yes.
So he talks about, the training time for money and, $10 hours, $100 hours, $10,000 hours. He talks about on his blog post. And so what you're doing in this exact moment of updating your website and writing a blog may not feel like you're making any money right now, but I get thousands of dollars of appraisal work from it. So I am making money. I'm just not making money in the way it's the perspective that you're looking at it, right? So I'm making money where I'm getting new work coming in. I'm not getting money from ads from Google or the internet. I'm not getting it that way, but it's building our business for sure.
Okay. So the issue is, nobody's going to call you up and say, Carole, I loved your last blog. I'm going to send you $50.
No.
What's happening is, and this goes back to getting the universe, getting a hold of the universe and shaking it by its lapels. And you're saying, universe, I'm going to blog for the benefit of those who read it.
Mm-hmm.
And if they read it and benefit from it, eventually, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually they will contact me about my service. And then it's my job to be open and enthusiastic and talented and trained enough to turn that into work. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah. And usually, there's also a method where you want to take up as much real estate on the internet as possible, right? So you want to not only just blog, you want to put things on the different social media outlets, different online outlets, so that when somebody is looking for an appraiser, they'll see Zen appraisals, and then maybe they might Google it. And if you Google Zen appraisers, appraisals, you'll get 3 pages of stuff: YouTube, um, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Like, yeah, I want them to see as much as they can about us. And so by the time they call us, I mean, I've had people say these exact words, and they say it often. Hey, I saw your website. Now, our website, everything that we do drives our audience to our website. That's where they ultimately end up, right? So when they say that, I really don't know where they began first, but they say, hey, I saw your website and I want you guys to be our appraiser. That's exactly what they say. They don't, um, there's not much selling I have to do. It's already done.
There,
So they're just calling to place the order, and they're calling to see if you're really who you say you are. And if you're nice to them and you're polite and you are the person that they have seen online that they've investigated, you're their appraiser then.
thank you. You mentioned Blaine.
Yeah.
What other podcasts, be they appraisal related or not, what other podcasts do you favor?
Oh my goodness. There's a lot. So I listen to a lot of Brian Buffini. He's a real estate podcaster. I listen to Dustin's. There's only one Dustin, right? So I
Dustin,
listened, yeah, I listened to Dustin's podcast. I listened to Jay Shetty, who is not an appraiser at all. He's a mindset coach. Um, they're the ones that I can think of right off the top of my head. They're my favorite ones, I would say. I listen to yours too, by the way.
Bless your heart. Thank you very kindly. I appreciate that. I'll go tell that to my wife. Um, okay, so all right, so okay, you take your CE, you have to. There's no one around that. But yet you do not limit your educational opportunities solely to real estate appraisal. You're also quite willing to go totally far afield if you believe that you're going to pick up something, even if it's just a nugget. You're going to pick up something that is going to be of benefit to you maybe tomorrow, maybe not for 6 months. But you pick up enough of those nuggets, and then all of a sudden you got a lot of nuggets, and that tends to coalesce into a presence that benefits you, correct?
Yeah, I mean, if you focus more on, I guess I'm focusing more on what I'm putting out into the world. Like you get back what you put out, right? So I don't know if I'm really answering your question or what you were getting at, but that's more of what my focus is. Like, for instance, like I take a lot of classes, a lot of different classes. I take far beyond the continuing education hours that are required, because I want to learn and I want to be better. And then I put out into the world what I learn. And then I get contacted by people who want to be connected to me because they've maybe been inspired, or maybe they're just like me, or like I got contacted by McKissick, and they asked me to be on their podcast, which I listened to that one also. And they asked me to be on their podcast. And I said, yes, I would love to. And I was on that. And because I was on that, then Scott heard me on there, and Scott contacted me and said, hey, I'd love to hire you to coach me on social media. And I said, well, how about this, Scott? I'd love to talk to you about what it is that you know. How about we just be friends, and we'll have conversations, and we try to talk every week, and we just help each other out. So it helps us both. And the next thing you know, you're calling me, right? So um, it all
Yeah,
comes back
we had never
around.
met before. We didn't
No,
know each other. And
no,
Scott told me about you, which is why I called. Yeah, I called you out of the blue.
yeah, yeah. So that's my whole woo-woo universe thing. I totally believe in it. Um, yeah.
Well, Carol, thank you. First of all, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your candor. And I think that there are a lot of appraisers out there who are in the position in which you found yourself sometime in the past. and they need to move. They need to
Mhm.
stand up and move because sitting where they are, and maybe the view is very nice, but the point is they're sitting where they are. They're not getting up and making things happen. And as a result, nothing's happening. And you got up, you changed your view, you challenged yourself, you took some education, even though some of it had nothing to do with real estate appraisal. And in doing so, you were able to say, ooh, now I can look differently at what I was looking at before and see a totally different side to it. And it is that change. It was that decision to change, not to stop appraising, but it was that decision to change that made all the difference. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I have appraisers reaching out to me at least once a week asking to chat with me, and I'm happy to do it. I have, they could email me at, uh, can I give my email address? Is that okay?
Don't give anybody else's.
My email address is Carole, Carole, at zenappraisals with an S.com. They email me and let's chat. I have an email list of appraisers that I send out emails. I try to do that every couple weeks, just to connect with appraisers from around the country that are like-minded. I'm building actually a list of like-minded appraisers from around the country because we often have people ask us for referrals because they have a property in a different state that we don't service or a different area that we don't service. And I like to be able to refer them to somebody who is like myself. So I'm building that list right now. So if somebody wants to chat with me, I'd love that. I send referrals out. I don't ask for anything in return. Um, yeah, and I love to chat with you. So,
Excellent. So it's Carol at Zen Appraisals, plural, zenappraisals.com. All right, excellent. Yeah, that'll be, you can't see it, but it'll be on the screen. All right.
yes.
Carol, again, thank you. I look forward to when we finally get to meet person to person. And and any other comments before we say goodbye?
I can't think of anything. I mean, I'm just really grateful that you asked me to come on here and I can't wait to meet you in person. And I hope you're a hugger because I'm a hugger. So
Yes, I do. I do enjoy a good hug. Thank you very much. All right.
okay.
So, everybody, thank you. We're glad you're here. Carol's glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everybody. Bye bye now.